This video brought to you in part by these fantastic sponsors.
Hey guys, what is up and welcome to the channel. I am the Shotgun Shogun, and as you can see, we are in our new studio, which is actually just my spare bedroom. And it's about time that me and camera guy Ryan get to unboxing some of this mountain of figures that we have. And of course, the first one that I decided was the School Tamamo no Mai. And this one has actually been sitting in my collection for quite a while now, and I've been wanting to unbox it, and today is the perfect opportunity. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a new format. If you've watched my other unboxings, you know that I spend like 30 minutes going through everything, talking about the box, the plastic, the keys, the struggling with getting all of that stuff open. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of work backwards. So I've already opened it, I've already looked at it. Now I'm going to give you my review on this figure. Now I will start out with the box, however, and one of the things that I really like about this box is it gives you multiple views of the figure itself. So you look here on the back, you know, you've got a nice big view, you've got a side view, you've got the front on view, and you've got the view up here in the front. You've also got this nice green plaid color, and that kind of gives you that reminiscent feeling of school outfits, school uniforms. So that's just a really nice extra touch to it. Now this figure is by Phat, and they're a little bit hit or miss on some of their figures. This one was definitely a hit. Now this one will run you about 180 to 200 online from what I have seen, the research that I did on this a little bit yesterday. However, if you're going to find this at an anime convention, you are going to be looking at around like 2 to 225, probably minimum, because this one has pretty much been out of stock for quite a while now. You're going to have a hard time finding this at any sort of big box vendor. So if you are looking to get it, you'd probably want to get it now because it's going to just eventually go up in price. Now, this is the figure in all of its glory right here, and me and camera guy Ryan decided that it's probably, instead of doing it this way where you would have an angled base, you probably want to do it this way, so you get that nice little bit of like side eye looking at you like, ooh, hey, Master's back. But let's take a look at this figure in general. Now the first thing that you'll notice is that unlike a lot of other Fate figures, completely bland base. It's a pea green. It is not the most exciting base in the world. So now let's get into this figure. So first off, the thing you'll notice what you'll notice is that this base does not have any sort of graphics on it at all, unlike most of the other Fate figures, short of I think maybe Semiramis. Most of them have at least like a summoning circle, something along those lines here on the base. And I think that one of the reasons for that is because of the pillow and Tamamo taking up the vast majority of the space, so you would really not see much. However, I do still think that that would have just been like a nice extra touch to kind of have, you know, the extra maybe graphical stuff around the outside there. Now you do have a cool seated pillow here, and one of the nice things is that it does have the legs, the leg areas keyed in here, and so that's going to be really nice for setting her in there. One of the things when I first opened this, I was a little concerned because I felt like I was like, oh man, how is she going to sit on this pillow? Obviously they were one step ahead of me on that. So now that we got that base out of the way, let's take a look at Tamamo herself. And this is a pretty hefty figure, much like most Tamamo figures that I have in my collection are. And a lot of that weight is right here in the tail. And that's because most of the tails are pretty beefy tails, pretty heavy. But let's take a look at her from piece by piece. So first off, we'll take a look here at the top. And first thing you'll notice here is that there's quite a bit of plot. Massive amounts of story. And by that I mean she has some pretty ample cleavage hanging out there. Now I do like the little bit of like tie hanging off kind of aesthetic that they have there. That's definitely a nice little, you know, male fantasy and some female fantasy. So that's nice, and they did a very good job with kind of swooping that across, kind of giving you that like action feel that it's definitely like hanging and dangling there after she has come home from school. Now, I will say that the top itself is a little bit too matte white for me. I would have liked it to be a little bit maybe like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it just feels like they just kind of put white on there. Like, I understand that that's how the shirt is going to be in real life, but they also went kind of over the buttons. Like, the buttons, they just did a complete white on. So that was a little bit disappointing, and you can see that here on the left-hand side of the shirt itself. There's just no differentiation. Now, some of the shirt seams feel a little bit more pronounced than others. Like on the right-hand side, the shoulder seam itself feels a little bit too overdone. Like the first time when I looked at it, I was like, oh yikes, is that a defect? But it might not be, as the left-hand side also has a little bit of a shoulder seam. You can't really see it because of the massive amount of hair that is in the way. However, they do a very good job on the ruffles, the ripples, the action feel of the cloth itself on the shirt. Not only that, but chances are you're probably not paying too much attention to the paint job on the shirt with all of those distractions. Now, on the ears, very typical paint gradient of most Tamamo ears. They're usually pretty well. I actually think that a lot of the times they just kind of use the same ears on like every figure, which I mean would work because, you know, they're the same ears, but they do have like a nice little like sweeping off to the side feel, even with the way that they are. So it kind of goes off a little bit, which is like a nice little bit there. Now the hair itself is very pink at the very top, and then it kind of goes down to like a translucent pink near the bottom. And I always really like that. That's a really neat effect that they put in hair, is like that translucentness at the end. Not sure why I dig that. I just do. The eyes are pretty good, and one of the things I liked about this when I first noticed was that the lips themselves have a little bit of a sheen to them, with the rest of the face being a little bit more matte. So it almost looks like she's got kind of like some lip gloss on, something along those lines, to really pronounce that little bit of lip that she has and kind of draw your eye down to it. Now, the bow on the back of her hair is super adorable. I really like it. The black bow in the rest of her outfit, like especially the top, is a very nice popping aspect that kind of just goes, oh wow, in a sea of pink hair, I have this like nice big black bow, and that just kind of adds a little bit of color, like a splash of extra to the top that it kind of sets things apart a little bit. Plus, you know, definitely got the cute little hearts in there as well. So that is the top. One of the other things too that kind of got me was I wish she would have had like a little bit of nail polish on. That would have added a little bit of extra to the semi-bland hands that she has going on here. So let's take a look at the rest of this. Now, this does come apart here in that you can take the coat off of here, and then that's how you get the tail in. So we'll take a look at the coat first. So the coat is really nice. It is a little bit, it feels almost like it would be like a leather jacket of sorts with the way that the paint and everything is on here. It's got that feel to it. However, it's got these like little ruffles down here along the bottom. So it could be kind of either one. It definitely has the leather feel to it. However, it is knotted up here, so that is a little bit hard to do with a leather jacket if you've ever had one. Now, I do like the tasteful, just little bit of the skirt that is showing. There's just a tiny bit. However, it does have the whole skirt down here at the bottom. So when you are looking at it from behind, you will be able to see that there is a little bit of skirt in the back, and I'll show you that after we get this back on here. But just that tiny little bit of skirt that you'll see just kind of adds that extra feel to it, that yeah, this is definitely a thing. Now, you can opt to not have that on if you want. You could totally just rock it like like this, and I guarantee somebody out there will. Now, one thing that I like is the attention to detail here, and just this like little bit of back divot that they have going on. Not only that, but if you look up here on the front as well, you'll see that they even sculpted her belly button, even though you're really not going to ever see that. And that is just like some extra stuff, because once you put the jacket on, you're not going to be able to see that. So having that extra little bit of detail there just goes the extra mile. Now, not only that, but if you take a look here at the sides of the underwear, you will see that there is a little bit of like sculpted ripple in that as well from her like kind of bending over. Now, one thing that I did notice too is that because you are taking this part, the jacket, on and off, you are going to get a little bit of paint transfer onto the underwear. So I've only taken this off and put it on one time, and I already have like a little bit of paint transfer onto there. But again, it's one of those things where it's like you're not really gonna see it too often, but it's, you know, it is kind of a blemish on the figure, as well as, you know, the paint. Obviously the tail doesn't seem to want to fit in here correctly, because I put some serious business force on this, and it still sits a little bit away from the back side, so that's a little bit of a downside as well. But let me take a look at this right here, this booty, and this is going to be hidden pretty much by this tail. But again, this is one of those things where they went that extra mile to very nicely sculpt this butt crack. Like they did some serious sculpting business on this behind. They've got the little bit of extra booty meat that is kind of like hanging out here on the side. They've got the little bit right here where she's bent over, how her underwear would kind of go up in there. They've got the nice thigh divot, the thigh, I don't know what you would even call that, just the thigh separation between like waist and thigh as she is bent over. They've got some really nice detail here on the thigh where her legs are from her sitting down. Not only that, but these thigh highs are really, really cute. Now, they did kind of go a little bit bare bones on the feet, but again, that's something that you're not going to see really well or very often. But on the back, they did put a little bit of toes here on the back of the thigh highs. Now, they also put like cute, super cute little hearts on the thigh highs, and I actually really enjoyed that. But here on the back of the underwear, you have like a little bit of paint differentiation here as well between the white and a little bit of purple, just to show that little bit of shadows. So on the tail is actually pretty well good for a Tamamo tail. You've got the decent amount of paint gradient in here, even where the tail kind of curls up here that she's going to be sitting on. There's a lot of nice shadow and everything in there. But again, I was a little bit disappointed because it almost feels like as hard as you're going to try to get this in here, you're never going to get this tail all the way in. And you don't want to force it too hard because, again, it's one of those things where you feel like you're just going to break it. So you do need to take this off of here and get that tail in there. And it's not the easiest thing to get on and off as this base, because you kind of have to finagle it up and around, which is what will lead to the paint being transferred over onto the underwear. So you can put her back together, and I do like the fact that she has like a very good flow between her top and her jacket. It doesn't seem like there's a hard division. It feels very natural. And that is a very good job of the sculptor being able to manage that. Now, once you get all of that said and done, you can put your Foxy Tamamo schoolgirl waifu on here. Now, one thing that I noticed, and this might just be because of the tail, but her hands don't sit flat on the base. She's a little bit up, and I don't know if that's just something with the way that I have this put together or not, but it is a little bit of something that bugs me. There's just this tiny little bit of space between her hands and the base of the figure. And yeah, I might have to finagle this and make sure that everything is extra tight just to see if that rectifies itself, but it's going to end up going into a case, and chances are I'm not going to notice that. Although now that I've said that, I'm going to notice that every single time. So yeah, there you guys have it. This is the Phat Tamamo Extella casual schoolgirl outfit figure, and this is going to go directly into my Tamamo shelf that I have, my Tamamo glass case, as just another Tamamo joins the figure family of Shotgun Shogun. So let me know in the comments if you guys enjoyed this. Do you like the new setup? Do you like the new format? I am enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to unboxing much more out of the monstrous mountain of figures that I have. If you did like this, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification, drop me a like and a comment, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy, homies. Peace.